I'd say it wouldn't be that much, but it's a Ford.
Oh, he's here.
You guys there, you don't have to change them.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kelly, if you can take attendance, please.
Larry Fiedler.
Here.
Greg Jay.
Here.
Brandon Tankett.
Here.
Bryce Howell. Scott Stierwald.
Here.
All right. Any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? I will start by removing item number 9B. What do you think,
No.
Jason, last chance? Okay, motion to approve the changes?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes from the June 10th, 2025 regular meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's bring us to claims and transfers.
From general, $345,050.21.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
From water, $49,812.85.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
From wastewater, $47,999.09.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Payroll, $59,905.45.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jordan's Car Care, invoice number 917004, in the amount of $2,969.74.
Any questions on that, council?
What was that for?
That Ford pickup out there. All the high compression system went out of it, basically. It was the easiest way it should be in your packet, the invoice. Right.
Any other questions? None. Motion to approve that invoice?
Motion. Second. Second.
Thank you on the second. All in favor?
Utility supply, invoice number 1554724, in the amount of $3,036.87.
Can you go back to that invoice number one more time?
155,
We had a
oh,
typo.
yeah, typo, sorry, 15, oh no, that's order number I'm reading. Invoice number is 1524488.
Council, any questions on that invoice? Not. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Utility supply, invoice number 1524490, in the amount of $6,020.96.
Council, any questions? Okay. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Snyder Recreation Incorporated, invoice number 9456, in the amount of $6,977.20.
Council, any questions?
Is that for the park?
Yes, there's park equipment.
I'll approve it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last one is Voice Systems, invoice number 119174, in the amount of $11,880. This is the annual software renewal. So just some clarification. Last year, we all both motioned to approve us to go to some new software, same company, new software. Before that was implemented, that company got bought out by another company. So they're still under Voice Systems, but they are bought out by another company. We've looked into going to their cloud-based system, and right now it's not very feasible for us, so this is a renewal of what we currently have. It's up It's $500 increase, I think, from last year for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different software systems total.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve that invoice?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hall?
Monthlies are in front of you. There's a new page on the front that I thought you guys would like to see since we're pushing the red, which are now orange tags. What we've created is a spreadsheet that allows us or any officer to get into P Drive, enter the orange tag that they implemented. And if you look at the far side, yours is the only one that don't have it. The red line, once it hits its 10-day mark, it shows up red, so any officer in the department can go and talk to Jason or issue a citation for not complying with the ordinance. Other than that, everything's been business as usual.
Awesome.
Any questions on the ordinance?
Has it been effective as far as the cleanup?
Well, as you can see, there's only 4 on there right now, and most of the people that we talk to, I've told my guys to give them 2 days. Talk to them, give them 2 days. If it ain't done in 2 days, by the end of your second shift, go ahead and issue a tag and start the paper trail. And I'd say 80% of them are complying with the 2-day ask. So we haven't had to be mean and issue a ticket for anything to this point. Now, we do have 1 red that we got to address this week, but that's over at 151 West Street. We have issues with that every year, so.
I think it's important, probably have some repeat offenders. I think Jason and I spoke about this the other day as well. Just gotta stay on them, and everyone's doing a great job on, number one, identifying the properties that are not following this ordinance, and,
And the big thing I wanted with this is a paper trail. This is gonna stay with us in our system that we can go back to and we can review. So we now are gonna have a paper trail of orange tags.
it's good. Thank you for that. Council, any questions? Okay. Jason?
Eric Smith with HWC is here. He can probably report on the first 3 items for you if you'd like.
I think everybody should have a copy of the update in your packet. First 2 are pretty easy. On the water project, I talked with the contractor B&T, and they are looking to remobilize now that groundwater is down before the 1st of August. And he's anticipating being done with all the work by the end of September. So we can close that project out and draw down the ready funds that are paying for that. So hopefully next month we'll have some progress to show on the bore. When he remobilizes it, he is going to go to the north side and hit the interstate bore from the north side with rock tools. The stormwater project is now, since last month, has been closed out and all work is complete, so probably take that one off the list. On the wastewater project, what we were calling phase 2 is what the work we started once we started using some of the contingency monies, once the base bid work was done for both Lieber and the town. We've got a tally there. There was several items on there, 10 items, included smoke testing, both downtown and Stardust, some additional sewer televising and lining. Lift station number 7 added an air release valve. We had new pumps, RAS pumps at the wastewater plant, did some building and door modifications, chemical feed improvements. We replaced lift station number 3 in kind. All of that work, the estimates from Reynolds before we authorized that work was $699,000. The final cost, under the BOT agreement was $628, so we saved about $70,000 on that work. So that goes into the contingency funds that we have left. With that, and with some of the testing we did, we have a scope of work for now what we're calling phase 3, which would be the next chunk of work, knowing we want to save enough money back to purchase a Vector truck. So this amount of work actually leaves us about the amount of money we need. We think our numbers are a little, or think the contractor's numbers are still a little conservative. So what we've shown on here for phase 3 is $557,000, which is going to leave more than $500,000 left for the Vector truck, which is about what our estimates are. So we should be good shape. The work we're proposing for this phase 3 is we're getting spare breakers for all the control panels for all the lift stations, so they have that on hand, including Lieber. We're upgrading and improving the drainage around the lab building at the wastewater plant, because that flooded earlier this year, so we're doing some site improvements there to improve that. We're putting a portable pump connection at the primary lift station at the plant, so they can put a portable pump there, which they don't have now. Then as a result of some of the testing and investigative work, we're doing manhole repairs, lateral repairs. We're putting actually top hats where we're actually sealing lateral connections to the sewer. There's 21 of those. We're doing some sewer repairs where we had smoke testing, where smoke came out, so we're gonna do some actual repairs of some sections of sewer. There's a section, in an area that's wooded that will be lining. Then we're also going to do some smoke testing in the area around the interchange, because that area was not done as part of this, part of the phase 2 work. Then we're also doing a check valve on the primary lift station at the plant, and also doing some stands on the chemical feed tanks. So all that total is about $557,000. So what I would like to entertain is, if the council's in agreement, that we could issue a change order to Reynolds for that, pending the state's approval, then we could get them moving on that work.
Council, any questions? If not, does somebody want to make a motion for that change order for Reynolds?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
We'll get that prepared once the state is in agreement that they approve this additional expenditure. Then I'll get the change order to Jason, and hopefully prior to next month's meeting, they can get started on that work.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
The next thing we have is the wastewater line extension. This is where we signed a contract with Aegis to do a feasibility study. I did talk to Brian Bullock with Aegis today, and they are working on that, and they hope to have a report to us by next meeting. So, Monon Avenue, there are two things to report on Monon. One, we did close on the property at the corner of Lafayette and Monon, so that is town property. The second thing is we did chip and seal. I think I brought this up at the last meeting, but we did do the chip and seal type Durapatch, I guess is what we could call it, on that street to try and salvage it for a little while. It's holding up as well as it's going to. It's never going to be perfect, but it is holding as of right now. So we'll just keep an eye on that and try and get through this, as long as we can. So with hopes at some point of doing a couple. I think there's two more parcels of land acquisition we would really need to do, one being CSX and then another is the private property. And at that point, we can go into CC&G and go for the grant process. So we're still working on that, still moving along. The next item is a recycle relocation. We've talked about this for quite some time, about relocating the recycle bin from the back of the parking lot. Brandon asked me to get a quote, so I did get a quote for what it would cost to construct a new concrete facility at a different location, and I do have a number on that. But in the meantime, I knew this grant was coming up, but IDEM, Indiana Department of Environmental Management, has a community recycling grant program that will pay for up to 75% of a project. It's between grant awards are between $10,000 and $100,000. I'm estimating our concrete project would be $40,000 to $45,000 to do what we would want, so we'd be about halfway up the fundable range for this. Whether we get funded or not, I have no idea. I've never applied for one of these grants, but I would like to put one of these in. I talked to Brandon about it earlier today. It has to be in by the 8th of August. It just opened up July the 1st. The applications have to be in by August the 8th, but we would not know probably till later this year. It says we'll know before December the 31st, but I'm guessing it'll be later this year before we would know. So nothing would actually happen if we're gonna go through with this program. You know, it could save us a lot of money. I mean, potentially $35,000 if we were awarded. So I'm just asking for your blessing to proceed with that, or I don't know if you actually want to take a formal vote to proceed with doing something like this. I know before we had talked about possibly doing a recycle center, moving it to the water pay station, behind the water pay station, but I think we've since kind of gravitated towards the property behind the doctor's office, or at least the property we acquired from the Putnam County Hospital as another possible site too. So my quote was for concrete for that area, but it would be very similar if we did the water pay station. So, you know, we can put in and then make that decision where we want to locate it, but I think, and Brandon, I think your thoughts were maybe still behind the doctor's office and stuff.
It was, I mean, the way we pitched it to PCH, and they were gracious enough to deed us that little portion. I think as we have to live up to our expectations, in my opinion.
That's my preferred location.
Yeah, and if we can get any help financing the projects, to me, council, obviously it's a no-brainer.
Will this be utilizing the existing pad and then we could concrete off that?
Actually, it's actually removing that existing pad. I don't think that is going to assist us by leaving it, just by where, the design would be to drive in from the street to the north, drive in, and then it would curve around and come back out onto that alley. So that concrete pad is actually in the way. So the quote I have actually has removing of that concrete. But it would be 3 lanes wide, and that's so that the dumpster, when they bring one dumpster in, they sit it there, then they pick up the other one. So it really has to be 3 lanes wide so cars can drive down the sides. So it actually it's narrow at each end, but in the middle, it widens so cars can actually go around it. They went out and measured, I mean, they measured what the dumpster we have there. It really does need to be concrete. I've experienced this before. We tried it with asphalt, and you don't want those trucks dumping on asphalt. It will not last. It would be cheaper, but it's really got to be concrete.
And in the long run, I believe that we're getting away from the truck driving on the parking lot too, and
It's awful out here.
yeah.
Very seldom do I pull in to park and there's not somebody dumping recycle back there. It's truly amazing how many people use that. So, and the nice thing is we do not pay for that. West Central Solid Waste District pays for all of that. The only thing we do is provide a location. And that's what we would be doing over there as well, if that's where you end up deciding the location is. I'm just really asking for your blessing to proceed with the application. And
Motion, we proceed.
Second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
And that's all I have.
Kelly?
You have your monthly reports in your packet. We're halfway through the year. Everything's looking all right. We've been kind of analyzing everything, getting ready to start into the budget for next year, which kind of brings me to the next item under my title. Any council member appointments to work on the budget talks for 2026 budget. I believe council president is required by law, but we can have another member as well.
Council, I did speak to Bryce on this, and he said if no other council members wanted to be the second representative for these exercises, he would do it again, for what it's worth. So obviously that myself and anybody else. Okay, I guess we'll go with myself and Bryce.
That's a great move.
I also would like to just to make the announcement that we're going to do our normal budgets the way we do. So our public hearing will be at our regularly scheduled September meeting, so September 9th will be our public hearing, and then October 14th will be our budget adoption hearing. So we'll just need to make sure we have quorum for that as well. And just be safe, nobody on the board is a volunteer firefighter, correct? Okay, I have to report that, so just making sure. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. This brings us to ordinance 2025-11. If you recall last meeting, I asked Jason to get this thing moving forward. This is a renaming of the town streets. This is the first reading on this. Council, if there are any questions, I'm not going to ask for a second tonight. We'll just get the first reading out of the way. If there are no questions, and council approves. Any questions?
There is still a blank on
Yes.
That's
on,
right.
on this
Sorry.
proposed, we do have a blank.
And that is pertaining to what street?
Greg Street.
Greenway Court.
Greenway Courts.
Can we, and you have no idea on what you want to get it?
The neighbors, there's only two that are actively involved, and just soon leave it as is. And Jason and I were talking about it, since it's really not a true court like some of the other courts are in the area, it's kind of a finger off of Greenway. Just kind of leave it as is. Because it really is not a true court, it's just a bump off of Greenway.
So the reason that we wanted to change is because we have Dreamway Court, Dreamway Way.
Just Greenway
Greenway.
and Greenway Court. But it's not per se like other courts where there's multiple residences, only includes currently 3 driveways. And it's such a small court, it's not, I don't even why it even has to be court, because the numbers are sequential off of Greenway. It doesn't,
I didn't even realize it was court until they started building 2 houses right next to Greg's house.
So if we just have Dreamway and Dreamway Court, right? That's how it currently is?
that's how it currently is, in
Yeah.
the sequential number system, it's not like it's a new road, the sequence stays the same, it just goes up the 2 houses or 3 houses and back onto Greenway.
Any thoughts? Larry?
I don't see a reason why it can't stay the same. Couldn't it just be Dreamway?
It's identified, I guess, as a court currently, that's why,
Place?
I mean, it's a court, you could pick anything you wanted to, it just, like I said, the number sequence stays the same, it just goes and picks those 3 houses up off the bump.
Right.
You've been over there, it's not really a court, it's an extended driveway.
I agree with that.
Dreamway, Way?
Just,
And leave it
And
at
then
that?
leave it as is, why change it if you're gonna go from Dreamway to Dreamway Way? It's just Greenway Court.
I think we should just leave this one. Thoughts?
I would almost drop the courts.
And make it all Dreamway?
That's what I was getting at.
Do we have signs there that say Dreamway Court?
No,
Or, there's nothing, right?
no, it's really just an extension of.
And the numbers run this,
Sequential.
then yeah, why would you want 2 streets?
It's like more or less a community driveway at the entrance, it's not.
There's no doubt it is different than the rest out there. It does kind of like a little bump out rather than a court. I just brought forward, if you recall, last meeting, that was one that I wasn't even aware of. And I just happened to stumble across it because the house was being built there.
Right.
When I saw the address of the new house, it said court. I'm going, oh, I didn't realize that was even a court.
Right.
So that's why, you know, in fairness to everybody else, if we were changing any
And
duplicate
I
names.
honestly don't think anybody uses as their address as Court. I think they just use Greenway. Nobody puts Court on there.
Council, it's my opinion, we just leave it as is.
I make a motion to leave it as is.
As in Greenway Court, or do you just mean as in
As is.
Greenway?
As is. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's causing any confusion.
I would say 99% of the people don't even realize it's a court.
Yeah.
It is in the ordinance. If you do adopt the ordinance, I'd recommend that you adopt it with that being removed. And we can have it, you're not gonna adopt it on the second reading, correct?
Not tonight.
Then-
We'll fix it for next time.
Just have it removed as is.
So this is the,
So then,
Yeah.
do you want us to vote on the first reading tonight?
I believe you can pass it on the first reading with the removing
With
of
the
that
understanding.
line. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Council? Anybody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Jason?
That brings us to readdressing. I did talk to Lisa Ziner, and the county is in the middle of readdressing in the county, and the same folks are supposed to contact me as soon as, we're talking about the numerics on this. They're doing that with the county right now. As soon as they're done with the county, they're supposed to contact me, and we're gonna start discussions with how we would like to do Cloverdale, or at least the old town Cloverdale, what I consider the old town Cloverdale. So, that should be starting soon.
Okay. This will bring us to codification. Do you know what to talk about that?
Just every couple of years, we're required to basically update our online code with all the ordinances and resolutions that council has passed over the last couple of years. This is just, I think it's been 2.5 years since we've done it last, and this will cover all of those. The cost is, it's gonna be somewhere between $3,100 and $3,960 to update that. That's pretty much it.
Do we need to vote on that? Or is that just an FYI?
No, you'll need to,
You did vote on
yeah,
it.
you'll need to approve it if you want that done.
That was seemed pretty reasonable when I saw that.
They do all the updates, all the codes in print and electronic, correct?
Yes, we will get print copies, so if you have a book, you'll have a new packet to add to
That's
your
a
book as
very
well.
reasonable cost to do that.
And ours was pretty substantial because we removed
A big
a
chunk.
big chunk. So this will, I'm still getting calls, people that are developers, they'll get online and see our code online. And especially building code or zoning, none of that relates. So this will clean a lot of that up for us. But even with that, even after it's codified, I think we're gonna look at maybe even doing some more detailed work to it.
Council, somebody want to make a motion on that?
Motion, we go ahead and get it done.
Okay. There's- Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This will bring us to the Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau. On July 7th, Bryce Howe resigned from that committee. So currently, we are looking for somebody to fill his shoes. Anyone who is interested, please reach out to Jason, myself, so we can hopefully get that filled in sooner rather than later. Again, that's for the Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau. This time, council will open up to comments. If anybody has anything? If not, can you just kind of fill council in with what's going on at Bennington and Beagle Club? There's equipment sitting up there. A lot.
Oh. Yeah, I'm scared. What's going on up there?
It's okay.
Yeah, there's a convenience store being developed there on the northeast corner of Bennington and Beagle Club.
Wawa.
No, I don't even know the brand, honestly. we received the plans for that, and
But he's,
they issued, the building permit was issued several months ago.
Is that convenient and gas?
Yes,
At the top of the hill or?
they're
That's that corner lot
Oh, okay.
that was for sale?
Yep.
due east of McDonald's.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Brandon had reached out to me last week to contact the property owner to ask them to mow the property, and when I reached out to them, they said, that's kind of funny, we were gonna be there tomorrow to mow it, because we're going to start construction on Monday, and I think that was last Monday,
So that's the Buc-ee's that's coming
Listen, we're not starting rumors, guys. There's no Wawa, there's no Buc-ee's.
Chi-Chi's.
We're not.
I-70 truck stop,
Huh?
I-70 truck
Yeah,
stop.
we're not.
It is a convenience store, I don't know any more than that, but I still.
But yeah, so you, obviously there's a fairly decent sized excavator out there. For those who are wondering, that's what's going on that lot.
They were doing survey work up there today.
Any other cool, new, exciting things you want to fill us in on? No? Eric, I do have one favor to ask on this new vac truck when we get to it. Notre Dame decals.
I'm all for that.
Any questions, Brian? No? Okay, this meeting's adjourned.
Good job.
Eric, if it has Notre Dame on it, we can assure you Jason would not get anywhere near